Who do you think is cleaning out their lockers for good?
Yeah, for the final time.
Give me some names who you think are definitely never seeing Ashburn again.
Josh Norman, baby.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the biggest one that I would go to first. I think Josh is probably getting released this offseason. They save $8 million on the cap if they do so, and it's not that he hasn't been good here. And I think that's a narrative that needs to be properly that's a Redskins career obit that needs to be properly written. He was a good player here. He just was not what they paid for in terms of generating the turnovers and things like that. And he knows that. He's been very reflective about those things and wishes he had more opportunities to make plays and wishes he had converted more of the opportunities that he had. But at the end of the day, I don't think that paying $14 million for him next year is the best thing for this football team, and they need to create cap space, so I think he's probably done. I think Preston Smith, there's a really good chance he's cleaning out his locker for the last time. I think that a player of his caliber could get a team or two to get into a bidding war and get a nice chunk of money that the Redskins are not going to want to pay for him. So I think he could be cleaning out his locker for the last time. I'll tell you a guy who I think is going to be back is Adrian Peterson. I really do think that he wants to be back here, and they want him to be back for a lot of reasons. So I think that's one that people obviously have their eye on, but okay. He's a guy that I think could actually stick around next year.
Interesting. Hey, real quick, how many playoff games did Josh Norman play in with the Redskins?
0.
Zippy.
He played in what was his contract?
I mean, he was making like 20 or 15 or 20 million.
It was 72 total, but that is over 4 years, and obviously he's not going to see the fourth year of that.
All right, so let's say he got 60, 55 to 60. Played in 0 playoff games.
0. It was as many as you played in.
Wow.
Will Greg Minuski be clearing out his locker for the final time? If he has a locker.
His office. He has an office. Coordinators do get offices.
Right.
Yeah, I think so, although I don't have a strong lean on it. I think you can make an argument really either way. I think, obviously, you can argue that he was a top 5 defensive coordinator for the first part of the year when the offense attached to his defense wasn't leaving them on the field forever because they had a good ball control offense. He had understood how to use his personnel with how this team was designed. You can also obviously make the argument that he couldn't figure it out when that was no longer the case. So is he the guy who has started each of the last 2 years with really good defenses, or is he the guy that's finished the last 2 years with really either poor or, below average defenses? And I think at the end of the day, you probably wind up moving on. I think there's some things that they probably would like to do a little bit differently. And I think there's actually good, while this head coaching crop might not be very good, there are going to be some good defensive coordinator candidates, obviously starting with Todd Bowles, who has Redskins ties. We'll see if, I was thinking about this the other day. If Marvin Lewis gets let go in Cincinnati, could all of a sudden you have Jay as the head coach with Marvin as defensive coordinator? I don't know that Marvin Lewis wants a DC job, but there could be some options out there that I think are worth exploring. And the question obviously is then what does that mean for the rest of the staff, who I think they by and large like, obviously Jim Tomsula being the guy they like the most and what he's done as defensive line coach the last couple of years.
Hey, do we know exactly what happened with Monte Nicholson and why he got into the fight?
No, that has never really
That's never been
out.
Asked? You've never talked?
I mean, well, we've asked, Jay and them, but, Monte hasn't talked since that incident. So we've not had a chance to talk to him, and I would highly doubt they make him available today.
Is Monte Nicholson going to be back next year?
I think so. I think that, they put him on that reserve list. They suspend him for the rest of the year. And I think, as long as he comes back and is all in and, there's no more problems, I don't see why you would let him go other than the public embarrassment. And, he's going to have the day he comes back, he'll have a tough day of questions, and then it'll be gone. He got no bar fight or an outside of bar fight at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's embarrassing, and there's video, and, there will be people that never let that go. But at the end of the day, like, there's dudes that have a lot worse stuff than a bar fight or a spilled out of the bar fight in the NFL. And, I don't think that's going to end his Redskins career.
Luckily he didn't hit a girl. So if he hits a girl, he's done.
Oh, of course. Of course. No, his girlfriend seemed to take care of that. So he he just punched the dude and threw a pretty good left hand. We all found out Monte was left-handed that day.
I don't know if you have ever hung out at One Loudon like late night, and I haven't. I've just heard from people who work over there. That place gets a little slippery.
It gets frisky?
After about 1 a.m.? Oh, yeah.
So I talked to a couple of players, and that's obviously where a lot of these guys hang out, and they said, yeah, man, when it gets late, like, dudes try stuff. They're like, they want to see how tough they are, and, you have to be able to ignore it. And I guess whatever state Monte was in or whatever, transpired was something he felt like he couldn't ignore. But yeah, there were a number of players saying, yeah, like there's been a couple of times I've wanted to do that to someone because guys get real aggressive at late night out there.
Right.